Hey everyone, you're listening to Heaving Bosoms, the podcast where two best friends read romance novels to stay connected and enjoy this often grisly world. First, let's get started with a Patreon shout-out. Buckle up, HBs. I asked Erin for some help in writing the next batch of Patreon shout-outs, and she chose to base them all on a website about the fearsome critters of lumberjack lore that she found. So, here we go. Becky C, you are a Dungavenhooter, a crocodile-like creature that resides in the northern woods of the United States. The Dungavenhooter uses its huge tail to murderlate drunk lumberjacks and then jumps up and down on them until they turn into a vapor that it inhales to live. The only sound you make is a snort, but that's okay because you can use that for both humor and disapproval, which are really the only two things you need to express anyway. The world needs more ladies who will take absolutely no shit, so you enjoy inhaling your drunk lumberjacks. All right, let's dive into Part 2 of Fires of Winter by Johanna Lindsay. The same content warnings for rape, kidnapping, and violence apply. Here we go. Hi, Erin.
Hello, Melody.
How are you, madam?
I'm okay. I'm not psyched to talk about the rest of this book, I'll tell you that.
Me fucking neither.
Because I only read the first half of this book. I realized we were going to banter, and then I just, went right into it. Sorry. I said a few things in the last episode about the rapiness of this book, and I have to take it all back. Yeah. Because the things that I was like, oh, guys, it's not... Yeah. It's more the reactions and not the... No, that was not right. And somehow I thought the second half would be, less rapey because that's when the love is supposed to happen.
And yet. It just got rapier from all directions.
Here's the thing, HB. Out there, listener.
Right, the one of you who came back. Hello, listener. Look,
hello, listener.
We get to talk about listener again.
Hi, listener.
Our one and only listener. You're so loyal.
All right, guys. Everyone within the sound of my voice. Who recommended this book?
We went over this.
I just want to know who you are. I'm not mad. But I just want to be able...
This is me. Somebody requested a super bodice rippery one. And
Did you
they
say
were
this last episode?
Yes! We talked about this.
This whole second half, I've been like, who is this bitch? Who did this to me? I completely forgot that you said that last
It's
week.
fucking me. Remember when I said, hey guys, I'm pregnant, and it was consensual because I was thinking this could be
Now I remember.
Book?
Yes.
Yeah!
I almost posted it in the cult. I almost posted hey guys. No hard feelings. I'm not mad.
Except
but
who the fuck did this to us?
Who did this?
It's me.
Oh, this book.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so why don't we just go? Why don't we just not
banter?
banter?
Just go?
Let's
You don't
go.
want to talk about the orange dress that you're trying to find for my wedding?
You know what? The only thing I wanted to tell you is that I hit up a Mother's Day sale on shapewear that I am pretty excited about. That's all.
Well, here's what I wanted to tell you is David and I were writing our vows the other night.
Yeah.
And we got done writing them up. And I was like, you want to punch this up with some jokes? And he was like, no, I have some jokes planned, but they're surprises.
Oh, no.
I was like, don't you embarrass me on the day of my wedding.
Yeah, no.
Also, I should let the listener know that I'm joined in the studio by Rooster and Goat.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to edit.
I'm sorry. They won't shut their faces up, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. They were laying down before I started talking, so I think they'll lay down again.
Yeah. And if they jingle jangle a little bit, oh, there she goes.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
I don't think that's as offensive to the listener as a hacking cough into the microphone, which is what you're usually editing out.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, listener. Listening back to I think Barbarian's Mate, I missed one or two coughs, and I'm really sorry. So there's I'll do penance of some sort, I promise. Okay, all right. Here we go. All right. So all right,
God,
guys,
I hate it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to relive it.
Okay. And you're gonna have to be on point for details because I have notes, but I have not reread this fucker. Because
All right. Okay. Let me.
So when we left off,
guys, if this is the first episode you're listening to, just know it gets better. I know we've said that a lot. I know we've said that in many episodes.
I never promised that. You always promise that.
Yeah,
I never do.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like I've been mostly right.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So listen. When we left off, we really slogged through this thing until we could get to the quote unquote good sex.
The nice sex. The one where she had the orgasm.
The one orgasm that was all right. The one she had to cajole him into.
Right.
What I forgot about this is that she is currently imprisoned in his room.
He has imprisoned her in his room until she will bend to his will and do the lady chores he has asked her to do because he is enslaving her.
Because he won't be tamed. And he will tame her. Or something.
Yes. So she's very, how long will you keep me in this room? And he's very, 'tis not I who keeps you here, wench, but yourself. You have only to serve me as I desire, and you may enjoy the same privileges as the other slaves.
That's right.
So that's our hero.
So then when we come into the next chapter, it's been a week. She's been in the room by her onesie for a week. Well, I mean, he comes and feeds her and stuff, but they haven't boned, and she's a little bit upset about that, ? And
it's like so weird.
Yeah. Because she's also, on the one hand, she's super pissed at him for keeping her imprisoned. On the other hand, she's like, but that dick, though? No?
Yeah. Like, that orgasm was weird. She's very confused.
Yeah.
This is what we call Stockholm Syndrome.
This is, yeah.
Which is also, I believe, like a Scandinavian trend.
Oh.
Because it's Stockholm.
Okay. So then they're one day eating dinner together because they've been having family dinners, he and she. Yes. He brings up her food and they eat together and it's all a thing. And so she grabs her a little taste and she holds it down so that his dog can eat it because the dog has been the thing that has kept her in the room. It's like the threat of dog will eat your face. Arr. So she's like, hey, by the way, we're BFFs now. So like, he's going to let me walk out of the room any day now.
Totally.
And he goes, oh, so now it's time to get a lock on my door? Good. Good.
Yes,
I'll definitely do that because you're staying here.
And you are my slave, my slave, my slave.
Yeah.
a lot of you are a slave. A lot of that.
Yeah. And so then she throws a huge fit and trashes the whole room with him standing there. He almost beats her to a pulp, but stops because he's the hero. Yeah. Question mark.
Well, really, like, he stops because he's like, that face is so beautiful. Like, it's not
how
like
I
love.
mar
it's
it?
just like, oh, God, I don't want to screw up her face because I like looking at it when I rape her.
Well, also, she's stuck in this fucking room. I gotta have something nice to look at.
Right.
You know? Like, she's the only thing to look at. So he's like, listen, wench, because that's what he calls her most of the time.
Yes.
You're gonna clean this shit up? Or I'm not feeding you. And she's like, oh, ho, ho, so funny. You'll feed me in the morning. And he's like, no, did I stutter? You either clean this up or I don't feed you at all. So she's like, oh, God, it's like I'm a slave. And so.
And she's 100%
there's no punchline
right
on that.
About that. Yeah.
I have
it's
no
like
punchline.
I'm a slave. ... And I am. Did we skip over when he goes and talks to Cordella, her sister? Or is that coming up?
That's next.
Okay.
So he goes for a ride because he's like, I cannot with this bitch.
Right.
And so he goes for a ride and he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try to see if I can get some insight into Brenna's psyche.
Right.
I'm going to go talk to Cordella, the worst person to talk to.
I'm a little bit Team Cordella. Hashtag Team Cordella. Sorry.
No, hashtag Justice for Enid is the only thing I can get behind.
Sorry. Number one top priority here in this book is hashtag Justice for Enid. 100%. But the second thing that I want to say is hashtag Team Cordella. Because he goes to Cordella and he's like, what's up with your sister? And Cordella thinks, maliciously, mayhaps there is a way to further her own revenge. Because remember, she told her how sex was painful.
That's right.
Which was apparently not true. So what Cordelia does is she tells him that Brenna is idle and lazy and will never bend to his will, and that she just won't do labor. And the thing is, like, is Cordelia lying about Brenna in that moment? Because Brenna is refusing to do all labor.
No, she'll brush any horse you put in front of her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she will brush a horse. Like, Brenna is a horse girl through and through. But, like, I love brushing a horse. I don't want to do the dishes, but I'll brush a horse. That doesn't make me not lazy.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I was just like, that's like... And then she, like, basically calls her a slut, which is kind of mean, but, like, also Team Cordelia. Like, I would be pissed if I were Cordelia over there being, like, a total slave, getting raped all the time, and Brenna's over there just, like, sitting in a room being like, I will not be broken. Like, I would be pissed, too.
Yeah, because Cordelia has been very savvy. Cordelia's whole thing is she needs to make sure that Anselm stays interested in her. And so she's been fighting him every time, like, sort of realizing that he wants a slave, that a feisty one.
Yeah, which is gross.
And she thinks she's pregnant from her husband back home who was killed. So she's like, I really need to get Anselm thinking that I'm preggers. Otherwise, like, bad news bears.
I 100% herbs that.
I'm sorry, not Anselm, Hugh.
Yes, but I did not realize that was from the husband back home.
Yeah, and she doesn't say that she's a slut. She's just like, Brenna always manipulates men to think that, or to, like, lust after her. Oh, and Cordelia does say that she needs a firm hand.
Ugh, God.
Because all of this is a test to see what she can get away with.
I just hate Brenna so much that I was, like, all for it. I don't know if that makes me a huge bitch, but I was just like, you get some, Cordelia. Like, fuck her up. Like,
Oh, no.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not saying for Garrett to fuck her up. I'm just saying, like, Cordelia just getting, like, a little bit, like, gaining an inch on Brenna, I was happy about.
All right. So he comes back to the room and is shocked. It's been all day, P.S. He's been gone all day. And he's the only one allowed to feed her. So he's shocked to see that the room is totally put back together, and the robe he tossed at her the first night has been mended. And she says that she'll serve him as he wants because he hasn't given her much choice. Right. And when she asked for permission to go back to the separate slave quarters, he's like, no, you're going to stay in the room down the hall from me.
Right.
And he thinks to himself, why do I want her in such close proximity? Her. And that is supposed to be romantic.
Yes. But, like, also, Brenna is, again, supposed to be this, like, super fiery, like, cannot bend to his will sort of lady. But, like, skipping lunch got her to be like, okay, never mind. This fight is over. Like, I am hungry for lunch. So I'm going to go ahead and do everything he asks of me. It's just, it's such bullshit.
Yeah. And then as soon as he comes home, she's like, yo, I didn't get lunch. This shit was done before lunch. You said you were going to feed me as soon as it was done. What the fuck?
I mean, I can understand being a hungry bitch. Like, I got that. But, like, to be like, I am the greatest warrior, and I'm so strong, and I'm going to fight until the bitter end, and then just being like, I'm hungry. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Also, somewhere in here, we learned that Morna has returned.
Yeah.
And Morna is the lady that Garrick liked, but then she didn't, like, get back with him or whatever. That's the reason he doesn't like ladies anymore.
Right. She's the one who was like, there is a merchant that is rich and has a good position. I'm gonna go marry him instead of this upstart who rapes all the time.
That's literally every Viking. You have to be more specific.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. So, so she talks to Janie. That's when she finds out about Morna. And one thing, we get a little look into her psyche. She tells Janie, "'Tis not the work I am against, Janie, but that Garrick would have me serve him as a slave when I was prepared to serve him as a wife. This is what galls me.
What?
That I must bend to him without the benefit of marriage."
What? I mean, I get that she doesn't like being raped by Garrick. I mean, that makes sense to me. But, like, it really seemed like it was that work, though, Brenna.
Not to mention that, you know what, the only difference is that she would have done whatever he wanted as long as she also got to boss Janie around.
Right, yes.
Like, as long as I came here, Janie, and you were also my slave, cool.
Yes,
like,
totally okay.
I'm fine with that. I just can't. So then he comes home late one night, right?
Ugh. Yeah, and he's just
right.
like marveling at the change in Brenna. Oh, I love how you become so submissive and now you're like totally fine. I'm so glad I made you skip lunch that day because like this is so much easier now that you're not like constantly trying to stab me and destroy my stuff. This is so great.
Except that he kind of misses
He
fiery
does.
Brenna because he keeps on needling her about being his slave. So he's like, I'm going to need a meal and I'm going to need a bath. And she's like, Garrick, everyone has gone to bed but me, your house slave. The only reason I am awake is because I am now your house slave. So like,
and he's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, you should stay up until I get home. Yeah, that's your job.
Right. He's like, so also house slave, need bath.
Want bath.
Get water.
Get water. But then she won't get the water fast enough for him. She's like going and getting the water. Yeah. So he goes and gets it, which again underscores the Cordelia narrative of like, Brenna's not that great at work and is kind of lazy. It sounded like she wasn't really like...
Well, and it sounds like she might have been manipulating him to see if he would do the water for her if she was slow enough.
Think so? I was not giving that much credit to our girl Brenna.
Yeah,
I think she's just bad at carrying water. Like she's bad at like everything else.
So then he's like, maybe you should get into this bath with me. And she's like, hard fucking pass. I'm going to go to bed.
But like, even if he were like the sexiest okay, first of all, he came in covered in blood, right? This is the night he comes in like covered in deer blood.
He murdered a deer or something.
Yeah. He tosses his clothes at her and is like, you got to soak these to get the blood out. You know, so he's like, this isn't one of those baths that's just like for leisure. This is like, this bath is doing some hard work to get some real gross stuff off of him.
Yeah.
And then like, also it's like cold water in a bin that's just like dragged over near the fire. Like, I don't want to be in that like gross like bucket with him.
Cold blood water.
Gross bloody bucket. Like, that's not a sensual bath. It's weird to me that he even thought about it.
That bath is not worthy of a snack, so it's not a bath. All right. So then he's like, all right, well, if you're not going to get up in this bath with me, why don't you scrub my backsies? And she's like, no, remember when I said hard pass, I'm going to bed? And so then she runs up the stairs, and she runs up the stairs like a screaming banshee because... What?
Sorry. She's like, I'm going to go light the fire in your bedroom and then I'm going to go to bed. So that's what I'm about to do. And he's like, you may light the fire in my bedroom, but you're going to come back here. And she's like, fuck you. I will light the fire in your... So she kind of knows when she goes to bed, he's a coming.
He's wanting some things.
Coming to get her. Yeah.
He's wanting for some rapes.
Yeah.
So...
God. It's not funny, you guys. It's just pervasive.
I'm exhausted already.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Okay, so he shows up to her room just like she thought. She's like, I haven't been able to sleep because I knew he was a comin'. And then he comes in order to be a comin'.
Yes.
All right, so then she's like, all right, I'll let you do some sex on me.
Yes.
And then as soon as she gets to the door, she hightails it down the stairs and like runs away again, screaming like a banshee, tries to get to the back door. The back door is locked in a way that is impenetrable for a...
He locked it.
Oh.
She said she didn't account for the fact that he'd locked the door at the bottom of the stairs. So Garrick...
That's right.
Getting out of his gross bloodbath was like, I'm going to go up and pound on that door. Better lock this door in case she runs.
Yeah.
What a hero.
What a hero!
What a guy.
So he picks her up bodily and takes her back upstairs and throws her into his bed. And he's like, why all the games? And he's like, you seemed curious and you seemed to like it last time. And she's like, I was curious and now I know. So now I'm not interested. Like you showed me what sex and an orgasm was like. And I'm like, not into it right now.
Yes. Now I'm like, next, please. Different experiences.
Right. Yes.
And keep in mind, she is screaming. She is kicking. She is hitting. Oh. He is slapping her back. This is not like just I don't know. This is a violent encounter, you guys.
Yeah. Oh, and then she also says, because up until this point, this is a important look into Garrick's psyche.
Yes.
He has said, as if we need one. Oh, what am I saying? He says that he doesn't want women anymore, so he goes as long as humanly possible before he rapes, because it's not him that wants the woman, it's his body.
Yes, it's totally separate.
Yeah, so she's like, well, you said that it's just your body who wants me, like not the man inside of you. So do you ever want women? Like, do you want, like, not even Morna? She knows that if she brings up Morna, it's gonna get him off the scent or whatever.
Right.
And my next note is, then it's a full-on rape.
Yeah. This gets to the level where she's like trying to get away. He grabs her ankle.
Content warning. If you want to skip ahead, please do.
I'm not going to go like super in depth here, but, he's got her ankle, and he's got her lifted her up all the way by her ankle.
Yeah,
which is
she
crazy.
tried to get over the bed and like run away. He grabbed her by the ankle, so she hit the ground with her chest.
Yes.
Like bad. He picks her up by the ankle because she is Peter Pan size. And like,
and then he's like, "Oh, are you hurt? Are you okay?"
Yeah, I hated
and she's
this
like,
part.
"No, I'm not." She's like, "Would it matter to you?" And he's like, "Are you?" And she's like, "The only thing that hurts is you holding onto my foot like that." And then he's like, "Okay."
And then he drops her.
Like, then he proceeds, and drops her.
So I'll just read this real quickly, just to give you an idea. It says, "You're a depraved beast," she gasped. "Nay, I'm determined to have you, Brenna, that is all," he murmured. She glared at him murderously. "So far, you've only gained my anger. If you force me now, Garrick, you will have my hatred as well. 'Tis not a pretty thing, my hate. You will never find peace with it." His answer was to plunge deep within her, bringing tears to her eyes again at his brutal onslaught. And then after the rest of the rape, the chapter ends with what he intended. Oh, I hated this too.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Johanna Lindsay. What he intended as a pleasing encounter had turned into a hollow victory indeed.
Yeah, because the moment he releases her, she runs away, and he's like, "Loki, take her." And it's like, what, because she wasn't into it by the end of all that?
She's kind of upset right now?
Yeah,
you asshole?
She doesn't want to snuggle now? Ugh, Garrick.
Yeah, I'm not. Not my hero.
No. Okay. So now it's winter or whatever.
Oh, yeah. And Garrick, okay, so after this, Garrick has been like, ugh, it's really, really tough when my favorite slave is angry with me, because she has not come around. Like, this was completely and utterly, like, this was what I think would have happened if Cordelia hadn't made her think it would be so much worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now that she knows what it's like to have Garrick be nice to her, I think that this encounter was extra hurtful for her mind and soul, in addition to her body. So she's not come around, and as a result, Garrick has gotten Oh, everybody's so worried about Garrick.
Pouty. He's got a little pout now.
Poor Garrick is like going on really long hunting trips because it's so hard to be around his victim when she's
rejected by his rape victim.
God.
So while he's away, wait.
Oh, sorry.
I must read a passage. Brenna hated to admit it, but she actually missed Garrick. When he was around, she lived in a constant state of apprehension, not knowing when he would demand something of her or if she would comply or not. When he was there, she never noticed how the hours dragged by. She was alert at all times, alive as she had never been before, because she's fucking afraid of him.
Because her fight or flight is always engaged.
Because her hippocampus, is that a thing? God damn it, I hate that I said it. Okay, good.
The hippocampus.
I hate that I said it. They're going to come after me.
It's actually the frontal lobe, Erin.
Sure.
It's
Whatever, don't
brain.
come at me. Listen, I know laws. I promise. I know things. Anyway, and at night, merciful Lord, she was a bundle of nerves, at night waiting and dreading for Garrick to come for her again. But he never did. Not after that night he'd raped her. So she, misses... because she's bored now? Is that what Johanna
I think
wants us
that's
to.
what she's saying. She's like, oh man, it's so weird and peaceful. Where is my constant terror? That's really what I want.
I did it. Like, I highlighted the shit out of that paragraph.
Yeah.
I was really confused by that.
Yeah. So then Anselm comes to visit while Garrick is away on one of his long hunting trips. And we find out, so Garrick's in a bad mood. Anselm is worried about him. And she has been locking the door because someone's been like killing things and leaving them on their doorstep.
Yes.
There was a dog last time. So she's like, these people really seem to equate human slaves with dogs. And so I think I'm going to lock the door just to be sure.
Yeah. They think it's the rival clan that's across the fjord.
The fjord. Yes.
Listen. I live on a fjord, okay? And I'm going to call it what I want to call it. That's what I'm going to say.
Well, I wasn't correcting you.
Across the way. Oh, I thought you were. You said it different. I thought it was a correction.
No, I was
like, listen,
fjord.
Jersey. we know fjords up here. Fjords fucking everywhere up in Alaska. So don't even.
I just really like saying fjord.
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 You were telling me it's like, listen, full disclosure, I don't know how to say it. Don't know how. Don't know.
Hey, Fanny, let us know.
Yeah.
All right. So he comes thinking that she can't speak Norwegian. Cool. Mm-hmm. That's a perfectly good assumption. That's what she's led you to believe. So he just goes on.
Oh, this is that.
He goes on a villain monologue, except like after he's been beaten. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so he's like, man, I really regret enslaving you. And like, you're pretty and stuff. And like, I really wish that I had just had my son marry you, like Toopsies, you know?
Yeah.
He explains his hatred of the Celts and the way that they imprisoned Garrick doesn't matter.
And this, in some ways, it kind of warms her to him.
Completely. She's like, fuck. He regrets
crazy.
enslaving me? Well, it's going to be extra awkward when I try to slit his throat and I can't now because, you know. So then he says,
I cannot.
Oh, he says that he brought her horse because they stole her horse too. So they brought her horse and it's out in the stable. And so then the next day, and he says that he hopes this is a start to mending their relationship.
Oh my God. I can't.
Anselm, you diplomat.
Anselm, very eager.
He's so eager to mend this relationship.
But yes. He's also eager to murder her whole family and her whole village and everyone she knows and loves. Like, honestly, if somebody had murdered all my peeps, murdered them dead, then enslaved me, enslaved all my friends plus Enid, who clearly she doesn't care about.
Erin, are you attempting to tell me that a horse would not make that go away?
Yes. What? And I'm also attempting to tell you that him coming to my house and apologizing to me in a language he doesn't think I speak, so not even in my language to me is he saying, I'm sorry, or I regret this.
At the start, he's like, I'm so glad that you can't understand me because it's not my way to apologize or be wrong.
So he's not even saying this shit to my face. If he said, I regret all these actions I've taken, I would be pissed off because it's like, no, own it. If you're gonna murder my whole family, at least be fucking happy about it. At least own it. Like,
fair.
Oh my God.
Fair.
Anyway, but the horse makes her happy and now she like loves Anselm and he's like a father to her or whatever.
That's right. That's right. And then she thinks to herself, she thinks that Garrick's in a bad mood because Morna's back. And my note is, okay, dude.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's not just a total dick all the time. He's just got moods. He's just moody. I've been there, Brenna. They're not just moody. They're just dicks. They're just mean.
Yeah, they're just abusive. That's just what that is.
But
so
then she
comes
goes
home.
But is this where she goes on the walk with Corin? Oh, maybe I'm ahead of you. Okay.
Oh, yeah, maybe you're ahead of me. We can go there. Yeah, well, no. So he comes home and he sees her riding the horse. He thinks that he's stolen the horse from her father and is making her escape.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, it's so sexy when she takes her horse and goes back to my house. Man, that vixen has bewitched me. Blurg.
Oh, no. The thing with Corin happened before Anselm came over. So just for everybody's situational awareness. Oh, no. Never mind. I know why you... I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, listener, this is our worst episode. I know why you didn't take any notes on this scene with Corin. It's because nothing happens. It's just to introduce Corin for the thing that happens later with Corin. Sorry.
I forget what happens with Corin,
He's
too.
He's the one that opens up the thing that shows her the jewels and
That's the one.
Crossbows.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Guys, there's another slave.
Cut
no,
it.
there's another thing that happens with another slave. She goes on a ride and she's like, Corin, do you know how to ride a horse? And he's like, no, I am a slave and I was poor before that, so no.
And she's like, ha ha ha, what a loser.
Yeah, what a loser. Maybe
she's
I
like
should
can't
teach
help
you.
herself laughing at him.
Oh my God.
God, I hate her and her stupid ego.
I hate her. So she pulls him up on the horse with her. Garrick sees this somehow and it's like, hate it when other men touch her. Only I rape her. And that's it.
Yep. Sorry.
So, here, I'm just going to read this to you. Okay.
Yes.
She finds out that he's back and he orders a feast. Everybody loves a feast except for the women's. She's super stoked to see him, but she doesn't want to show him that. And so she's sweeping up the hall, and then he comes in and their eyes meet when he walks in, and he's like laughing with Perrin because he's in a good mood because of a feast. And then he walks up and all of a sudden he's behind her, and then he grabs her hand, and my note is he takes her up to his room for some reunion rape.
Yeah.
Yep. So they get up there. He's getting to business, and she says she didn't miss him because there's lots more Vikings. He does the "you're mine" situation, and she's like, "No, I will have sex with anybody I want." And he's once again reminding her about like the fact that she's a slave. And like, guys, they have this fight no less than 42 times.
Yeah, it's like the plot gets confusing because there's just so many times that he assaults her. And he's like, "You're my slave," and she's like, "Nay,
no, I'm not.
I will never be." And he's like, "You like sex with me?" And she's like, "No, seriously, I don't. Though, please stop." And he's like, "Nay, I won't." And that's, I would say, a good like 70% of the book.
Yeah, they're either doing that or they're fucking broken up. So
yeah.
All right,
broken up.
I mean,
it's just when he's on rape hiatus is like because he's pissed.
True.
That's what breaking up is between the two of them.
Guys,
people.
even I have been
nuts.
Stockholmed. God damn it. So, okay, wait. So then he's like, "I'm not even going to share you yet." And she's like, "Yet? Get your fucking ass out of here, yet. Like, you don't even care about me. You just want me right now. When I'm not shiny anymore, you're not going to want to rape me exclusively.
Right.
Then you're going to share me, ? And he's like, "That's how this works. Have you met Janie? That's how it works."
Yes.
And so then she starts crying and she's trying to deny it. And he's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Making love to you right now." And she's like, "I'm crying." And, oh no, she says, "Nah, bruh, this is rape."
Yeah, she does. Yep. She's like, "Nope, I don't want to do this. You're forcing me to do this." And then you guys, he lets her go.
Yeah.
This one fucking time.
I know.
So many. He's like, "You know what? It doesn't seem like you want to do this, so go ahead and leave." After he literally carried her up there.
Mm-hmm. Ew. It says, he's like, "All right, so then like we're gonna do rape if you don't want to call it making love, then I guess we can call it rape." And she's like, no, but he says, "But I want to know why you're crying though. Like, tell me about your tears." And she's like, "You wouldn't understand." And he goes, "Ah, but I do," he said. And he held her face between his hands and then kissed her softly.
Oof.
"You would rather I made love to you gently than force you." Fucking revelations up in here, you guys. He lowered his lips. He lowered his lips to her neck.
Viking is getting woke.
Oh my God. He lowered his lips to her neck, but more than that, "You would rather I not have you at all."
Yeah.
He kissed her lips again, passionately this time. His arms, and then her arms circle his neck without her knowing it, which I always hate. I hate it every single time that happens in this book.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to indicate that, like, she is sort of saying yes, even though everything else is saying no. And I just want to punch everyone.
Right.
And then,
it's like her body is betraying her. But would you rather have her hands circling his neck without her knowing it, or her arms akimbo?
I would like to see a Peter Pan all day long instead of this bullshit.
I can't figure out which one is more annoying to me.
I don't know. Now that I know it's a Peter Pan, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So, it says she felt like a puppet in his hands and answered mechanically, "Yay, you are right." And then he says, "Then go." And she's really confused because the author wants us to believe that one passionate kiss after she has been sobbing has then made her into it. And now she doesn't know how to tell him she's into it. And so then she just has to keep up the ruse.
Yeah, keep up the act like she doesn't want it.
I want to punch everything. So she leaves.
And that's when he lets her go.
Yeah, so then downstairs, fucking Hugh grabs her up and puts her on his lap. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go take this one to another room. And Garrick's like, no, you're not. And they have a really weird brother standoff.
Yes. So Hugh the brother tells Garrick, I will buy her from you.
Yeah.
Then Anselm says, no, I'll buy her for more. This is all in front of Brenna.
Yeah, in not in the language, though. They don't think that she understands.
Yeah.
So Anselm says, I'll buy her from you for whatever the fuck you want. I'll buy her for a Viking chieftain's ransom. And then I'm immediately going to set her free. And she's like, oh my God, Anselm! Like, what do I get you for Father's Day now?
I hate it. Like, if you're gonna enslave me, fucking enslave me. Like, oh God, it pissed me off so much. Anselm,
so bad.
It's the fucking worst. They're the worst.
You don't get enslavement remorse. You don't.
No.
No. That's not for you.
And here's the thing. If Anselm gets enslavement remorse, Garrick, the hero, maybe could stand to get some enslavement remorse.
He never does.
Never.
He never does, you guys.
Not one time. If anyone's wondering at what point Garrick sets her free so that he can marry her and make her a free woman,
Bitches, it does not happen.
That does not happen, you guys. That is not what happens.
That is what I believed would happen.
Yes.
I believed that either she would kill the feuding person's whatever in order to get her freedom, or that Garrick would be like, I really wants to marry you for Evsy, so I'm going to set you free and then we can get married. Guys, neither of those things happened.
100% believed that Garrick would use his last wish to set the genie free,
even
though it meant that he would lose the genie forever. I honestly believed it, and I don't know why. At every turn, I expected Garrick to become the hero.
Never.
Realize that he was, like, in love with her, or, like...
Literally not a single time.
Give any shits. Zero. Never. It literally never happens.
Yep.
Okay.
Buckle up.
Okay.
Here we go.
We're not even, like, close.
No. So, all right. So let's start herbsing it.
Yeah, let's herbs harder.
I'm so
all right. Well, the next thing
herbsing.
that happens is the thing with Corin.
Yeah.
So Corin, who she was on that horse with,
he takes her to a shed.
He's like, hey, you know where Garrick keeps all his valuables? It's in there. And she's like, let me in. And he's like, nah, I can't because I'm not supposed to. And she's like,
I just want to take a look.
Yeah, she's like, I am pretty. And he's like, okay. And so he lets her in.
He's like gathering bags of oats outside or whatever.
He doesn't watch her at all. He's like, promise you won't take anything anyway. I'm going to go bale some hay.
And she's like, Corin, no worries. I know this will get you straight up murdered, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because the only slave that matters is me. Okay.
Yeah. The only slave that matters is me is like her slogan. That is like, she should get that tattooed somewhere on her. That is Brenna.
Yeah.
100%.
Completely.
So she somehow fits underneath her slave dress a crossbow, some arrows. No, I'm sorry. Bing, boom, bong. Bird chirp. This is Logistics with Erin. So she has a slave shift, I believe. She may be wearing an ermine coat. That sometimes happens, but like
that's later.
Like, but she might have like a fur. There might be a fur.
She has a shitty fur. Yeah,
she's got. She might have a shitty fur.
Shitty. She's got a slave cloak. Yeah,
at most, but mostly she's always just wearing like a shift dress. Okay, a crossbow, a thing of arrows, and the thing that holds them. Okay,
a
sword, a dagger. and her entire wardrobe from day one. So, like, boots, like, pants, cloak, tunic, all of it. Her whole black velvet Peter Pan outfit from the first day. All of that somehow goes underneath that shift, and Corin isn't any the wiser.
He's none the wiser. Yep.
The boots are the thing that like blows my mind. Well, like the crossbow and the boots. And the sword.
No, it happens.
How is all that even staying under there? Like, there's no like, you can't tuck it in the waistband of your slave dress.
Does she have a waistband in her slave dress?
That's what I'm saying.
Know. I know.
I don't think so. If anything, it's like a weird rope tied around it. I imagine it like. You remember in The Little Mermaid when she comes to shore for the first time and she's wearing like a sail tied with a rope?
Yep.
Yes, that is what I imagine it to be.
Yeah, I like it. So she takes all that up and she hides it in the sewing room because she knows that they're not going to be in there for a while because the slaves are either cooking or getting raped and the men don't go in there anyway. So he comes to her room drunk and scoops her up after the party. Mm-hmm. So he offers her some wine. He's like, let's get festive up in here because slaves aren't allowed wine. And then my note is he changes into some fancy Viking clothes, which I just want him to be in spandex and like some Ray-Ban sunglasses.
I want him to be in like the hat with the horns. The Vikings wear.
My note says biking. It autocorrected to biking.
I thought you said biking. I was like, you do you, whatever you think fancy Viking clothes are. That's fine.
No, I just want I want padded butt, so that the seat is more comfortable. That's what I want. Okay. So anyway, then she asks what would happen to her if he died. And he said that she would revert to his father. And she's like, he would set me free. And then he tells her that Anselm said he would set her free.
Right.
And she's like, well, then let's get that going. Like, why don't you sell him to me? You'll be all the richer.
Uh-huh.
And
he's like, what would you do?
Yeah, would you make love to me? Make love? Make the love? Would you do that?
Melody, thoroughly grossed out by the words make love.
In every way.
Yes.
On every single level.
Even when it's not a coercive rape, Melody very grossed out by those words. When it is, I think probably even more so.
I mean, is it not a coercive rape? Then
no, it is.
Getting talked into. Yeah.
I'm saying,
I see what you mean.
In just a regular romance novel, when it's like totally consensual, great sex, it still grosses you out. So like this, I can't even imagine.
Next fucking level.
Yeah.
And she's like, totes. And then it's on TM. It's not though. Guys, it's not because this is so coarse. And then he doesn't do it.
No.
And then he doesn't sell her to Anselm. And that is, here's the next thing, Erin. I am baffled about this.
Yeah.
She does the making of the love with him.
She does it. Mm-hmm.
Does it. And then she's not angry when he doesn't hold up his part of the deal.
Like, she literally never mentions it again.
Unless I herbs it again.
Yeah.
No.
Because I did herbs her falling in love with him, and I had to go back like 10 pages.
No, it happened quickly. It happened very, very quickly.
Yes. All right.
Okay, so she wakes up to the sounds of a brawl downstairs, and she throws on his short silk robe. We're getting our silk robe on again, you guys. And she runs down the stairs to see what's up. She sees him injured and immediately rushes up to him. She's like fawning over him. And he's like, go upstairs. You look like a slut. And do you remember how all of my friends are rapists?
She pushes him. He pushes her.
Yeah.
He's like, have you no shame? And like pushes her. And then she's like, well, I thought you were hurt. And he was like, no, you're a slut. They're all going to rape you. Gross.
Right.
And that's your fault. It's not like they're going to rape you and they're gross. It's like they're going to rape you and you're gross.
It's like they're going to rape you. You're disgusting. And I am the only one who can exclusively rape you. You're going to get my friends in trouble with me.
Even after this, Anselm the Eager was like a little bit like, hey, Garrick, that was a bit much. Which, like, for him to say that is a lot.
I know. So Garrick is like, I can't believe she was like that. And Anselm was like, I only saw a woman concerned about you. And then you pushed her bodily and screamed at her and slut-shamed her. So I don't super understand. Anyway, So this is so fucked up. Everything is so convoluted.
I think that our ideas of why this is fucked up are going to be different. Please continue.
Ooh, I like it.
Yep.
So she decides she's going to run away. And she thinks to herself, when he finally realized that she'd run away, he would think his harsh words were the reason for it. But that was only the half of it, Brenna admitted truthfully. She could no longer trust herself to be near Garrick. Not after last night. In his hands, she turned to clay, to be molded any way he wished. He kissed and drove away her resistance, her will. She could not tolerate that. She was a woman accustomed to having complete control over her reactions. Yet when Garrick touched her, she became a puppet. She had to get away from him, far, far away. So, like, even when I am fully Team Brenna, and I'm like, that motherfucker,
which I never am,
not okay.
No.
Like, yeah, but in this moment, I was like, how fucking dare he? She was just trying to nurse his wounds, and he treats her like that. She's like, you guys, I'm actually this is my opportunity to manipulate him and make him think that it's his fault.
I'm not Team Brenna because here's the thing. You see the man that has been enslaving and raping you unconscious on the ground, having got blood all over him.
I think he just had a fat lip. It was just...
Sure. But there was like blood splattered on him that she thought was like maybe his blood or something.
Sure.
Whatever. You know that if he dies, you are a free woman. If nothing else, he's probably concussed and might be out for a little bit. Just pack a bag and go. Just pack a bag and go. Because her packing a bag and going in this moment only told me that this whole fucking time she could have packed a bag and
left.
Went. Yes.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Brenna? This warrior queen, princess of the Celts who cannot be tamed? Because it seems like you've been tamed pretty fucking thoroughly, especially because you're only running away just to like escape your love for him.
I can't. So she fucks off with her horse and his dog follows. And she's like, she tries to white fang the dog and she can't. She also doesn't try very hard to white fang the dog. She's just like, okay, dog, you can come with me. And then what?
Sorry. We're past this now, but like when Anselm saw Garrick push her off, the ending of that chapter was, Garrick's reaction gave Anselm reason to think Garrick really did care for the girl. Only yesterday he had said to all that he would not share her. Now this. Would the two young people forever be at odds with each other? And that's the end of the chapter, and I wanted to be like, yes.
I hope so.
Yes, please. like it's very like, will these crazy kids ever work it out? It's like,
hopefully
you
not.
murdered her whole family and brought her here forcibly and then gave her to your son, and then he is her slave master.
And then he's been systematically raping her.
And then you just push her out of the hall because she's showed her vagine to everybody, or probably just her knees or whatever. Like, you know, these crazy kids are not going to work it out, Anselm. Jesus. All right, sorry. Now we're in the forest?
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, and don't forget, this is also where Anselm is like, oh man, and guess what? In her monologue, the only reason that fight started was because one of the other Vikings talked about how perfectly globular her tits are.
Guys, I know we haven't mentioned it yet this episode, but her tits are so fucking round.
Circular.
Yeah. Just like, imagine a perfect circle.
Imagine that's that on a chest.
I'm sorry that I took the perfect circle thing and turned it into Brenna's tits. But okay, all right.
Okay, so she decides to go north because she's like, nobody will expect that I go north because it's the dumbest move I can possibly make.
Right.
And
yes.
So she's sitting there with her
dumb move she made. Before we reveal what it is.
Sure.
Everybody, HBs, close your eyes at home.
Yeah.
Imagine.
I'm going to close my eyes right now.
All right. Don't fall asleep.
No, I won't.
She opened one, and it was the creepiest thing I've ever seen, you guys. All right. You're on horseback. You're riding, you're trotting on your horse, okay?
Trot.
Trot. Next to you is a dog wolf, okay?
Wolf dog, yeah.
Yeah. You are taking pains to cover the tracks that your horse makes. what mistake are you making? And is it the dumbest one you could ever think of?
Is it not covering the tracks of, I don't know, his dog?
Yeah, his own dog? That makes very distinctive fucking wolf tracks in the snow?
Who often goes hunting with him, and so he sees said tracks all the fucking time?
And will probably bork, bork, bork if he comes anywhere near you? Jesus.
Not to mention that here's my favorite, it's distinctive dog prints, and then just a swoosh mark afterwards. He's just following a swoosh mark.
Girl! What are you doing? You are not a warrior. Here's the thing. If Brenna had been described as just a lady who's doing her best, grabbing at daggers, getting all those crossbows up under her shift, whatever, I would be like, this is a pretty impressive lady.
That's
but
right.
Since she's constantly described as like the most skilled warrior in all of Kelt, it blows my mind that she's so stupid. Anyway, all right.
Okay, so it's like 4 days later, and she's sitting there with her little fire and her little rabbit that she murdered. Mm-hmm. And she's feeling super pleased with herself. Mm-hmm. So then she wakes up, and she's like, who's snuggling me? I like it.
It's the same person that's been snargling you for months and months and months, you stupid
whether you
idiot.
Like it or not.
Yeah.
So this motherfucker has discovered her in the middle of the night. And unlike Hayden, he has not said to himself, how resourceful and wonderful my mate is. Instead, he's been like, oh, thank fuck I finally found her. But I'm too tired for a fight right now. So he just gets up behind her under the furs and goes to sleep.
God.
So then this goddamn spy master warrior of the universe does not notice when a full human
size
decides to be Big Spoon.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a different thing. Never mind. Sorry. But yes, that too. Yes.
Doesn't she's just like, so nice. It's an extra warmth I haven't felt in a week because I've been roughing it in the north, Brenna.
And then she wakes up and she's like, on guard.
Yeah.
Who is he?
Exactly.
Why is he here? And then they have a full-on sword fight.
They have
clang,
a full-on
clang,
fight.
Sword,
clang,
sword.
Clang, sword.
Swoosh.
And then wait, Bing Boong Bong. What are Swedish bears with melody? Norwegian. I'm sorry. What are Scandinavian bears with melody?
What are Swedish bears? I did not expect this one to be this fun. You guys, it doesn't get better. This is like a pretty good episode, actually, now. It does get better than last week's, though, which was just us being sad about rape. Now we're on the other side. We've crossed over. What is your question about Swedish Norwegian bears?
Bears. Okay, I understand. Bears that get fat over the summer so that they can sleep all winter, right? But do bears who are in constant winter, do they act the same way? Because this is legit, put a trademark on it, winter, right? Like, winter has come.
Melody, you cannot trademark winter. You cannot.
I didn't trademark it. I'm saying somebody else did.
They're going to congregate you. It's going to be Winter's Gate.
So then they're fighting. Cling, clang, swish,
cling,
boosh.
swish, swish, swish.
On guard is my new one, I guess.
Slash.
And so
stab.
Slash. Bigger
big
slash.
Stab. All right.
And then all of a sudden, out of fucking nowhere, out of a tree or the mist or something, a bear comes out and only wants Hayden. This bear is apparently on some sort of murder mission for
Garrick,
not Hayden.
Garrick.
God damn it. Garrick. How dare
this Metlack comes out of the forest.
It's true. So, and it says like, oh, this is the bear I pissed off 3 days ago when I was searching for Brenna. Like, first of all, why is this bear not sleeping?
Why is it personal with bears?
What kind of bear has an agenda like that? Scandinavia. Tell me about your bears.
All right. Alaskan bears with Erin.
Okay. You guys have a period where they get fat. Do Scandinavian bears have that too?
Well, we're up in the same area as Scandinavia. Like,
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Huh.
We're Arctic. There's so many Arctic countries. We have a convention every year. All
Is
the
that
Arctic
real?
countries, yeah. All the Arctic countries get together. It rotates from each country, and there's like a cultural festival that moves from country to country. It was in Anchorage 2 years ago.
Alaska?
Yeah. Well, including America, but they have it in Alaska because we're the state that's in the Arctic.
Oh, I didn't know we were an Arctic country.
We are, because of Alaska.
Interesting.
So,
wow. You guys, I would like it noted for the record from now on that anytime I am cold, it's because I lived in an Arctic country.
Shut up your shit.
You just told me that.
So it's like us and like, oh God, I don't know why I started down this road.
I don't either.
Canada,
Greenland,
Iceland, Greenland, Finland, Norway, Sweden, and Russia. And I think that's everybody who comes to the thing.
Okay.
And then, like, there's, like, crafters that come out to it, and, like, food people, and there's, like...
You know, now that I mentioned it, I watched Vikings. They have a period where it's not snowy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is,
warm.
I live in this weather, and our bears do not do whatever this bear is about.
Yeah, what kind of bear is like, well, I guess I'm going to come out of my cave when I'm all skin and bones and go fight off a dude who doesn't matter to me.
How did he piss off the bear in the first place? Did he go into its den and like poke it with a stick or something?
Wait, is it like, are you Brenna? Poke, poke. Is you Brenna? Poke.
Are you Brenna? Are you my Celtic beauty? For she is as fierce as a bear. Oh no, you are a bear? I guess I'll fuck off then. I'm stupid and Garrick. Goodbye.
Yep.
Oof.
So, man, you know what's really sad? Nobody's going to listen to this episode because of the last episode.
That is sad.
Yeah.
Maybe you should like take some parts of this episode and just like
do some
put them in,
previews.
because no one's going to read this book. So just shove them into the last one and they'll never be the wiser.
There we go.
Well, let me say this. I just went to a movie called Arctic, starring that guy whose first name is Mads, who's a Scandinavian.
Mads
yeah.
Mikkelsen?
There you go.
He's so hot. He can get it. He can get it.
This whole movie
anytime.
is just him surviving in the Arctic. It is riveting. His performance is incredible.
I'm sure.
No, this is a great movie. But may I say, he pisses off a bear in that movie, and it is a polar bear, so it makes sense.
That's a bear that walks around in the snow time.
Is this a polar bear?
It is not fucking a polar bear.
I don't think it
it's
is.
brown.
I think they very clearly said it was brown.
I think it's an emaciated brown bear.
Yes, I think so too.
Like, who just decided to get some revenge.
Oof. But really, guys,
Okay.
if you, it's the best survival movie I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of them. Okay.
Huh.
All right. Moving on.
Okay, so this bear with an agenda comes up, and it is intent on killing only Garrick. He doesn't care about the other food source standing right in front of him, nor does he care about the dog he could easily murder and eat.
Oh, and the dog does fuck all to protect anybody in this situation.
The dog just like goes on a picnic or something. Where
Can I
is that
say,
dog?
if I got attacked by a bear, Rooster
would be on it.
would be on it. She would die so fast, she would buy me 0 time.
Right.
But
sure.
She would be on it.
Yeah. Oh my God, I had a rooster moment the other day. Can I tell you about it?
Yeah, were you here?
Oh my God. So, no. Remember how, okay, so Rooster would definitely defend you from a bear, but
Yes.
she cannot be relied upon in an earthquake situation.
No.
Right.
No.
Well, we had friends over and Ember was outside with everybody. We had an open window because it was nice outside. I was sitting inside with Valor, and apparently one of my friends picked up Ember and was like, oh, say hi to Mom. And what what Ember did instead was shriek at full volume in the window at me, and my back was turned to him. Valor was in front of me. He's at my back. And so I just spring up like a spider monkey. I jump over Valor. I get like 2 steps away, and then I turn around to get Valor. Like, apparently it's every bitch for herself in this house too. Yeah. Because I did not throw myself over Valor at all. I just fucked off and then thought about it and corrected. You know, I corrected my course.
At least she's so young, she'll never remember that time when Mommy abandoned her when there was danger.
Yeah. It was just a 0.2 second
I remember when Rooster did that too. Here's the thing. I think if there's anything that Rooster could use aggression toward, she's a very aggressive dog. She would attack anything for me.
Yes.
But if it's like an unspecified danger that is hurting both of us, like a storm or something, no.
She cannot be relied upon.
She also, she'll attack anything too. She would legit think she could defeat the bear. That's the problem.
I know. She's so sweet. She's got such grand ideas.
Deeply dumb. She once went at a moose one time, and I was like, "Oh, honey,
no, babe.
You cannot defeat a moose."
No,
yeah,
no. The only thing you can do is tap dance between its legs until it murders you.
Yeah,
that's it.
It will.
It definitely will.
But just out of annoyance, like it'll just be annoyed enough. Anyway, all right, wait.
Okay, so here's what happens. They're cling clang swooshing. The bear comes out of nowhere, and it's like, "Garrick, I hate you." It says it with words. "Garrick, I hate you." Roar. And so then it's
Garrick,
I hurt you. So then it paws him into a tree with its paw, and he goes kerplonk against the tree, and he goes out like a light. And so then Brenna's like, "I must now bring out all the warriorness that has been inside of me and not unleashed yet. Yeah. I will now be warrior."
What she could do is let the bear eat Garrick.
So then she murders this bear. Oh, because as they're fighting, she's like, I'll fight him off or whatever, but I can't actually hurt him with my sword or my crossbow. I could never hurt Garrick. Then the bear comes. He does his paw thing. Garrick hits the tree. Right. She kills the bear. Then she wakes Garrick up, and he's confused. And he says, "'Twould seem I underestimate you, Brenna," he said grudgingly, surveying the dead carcass. "You're as capable as you declared." He looked at her sternly. "'Tis a pity I cannot trust you from my sight." Right. She says, "If I were loyal to you, then you could trust me, Viking," she said almost bitterly. He cocked a questioning brow at her. "Would you give me loyalty?" Then he pulled her to him, gripping her shoulders painfully.
Oh, it's the worst.
"What do you want from me, Brenna?" "Freedom," she says. He shook his head angrily. Yeah.
It's very Celtic.
He shook his head angrily. "A free woman has many rights, among them the right to refuse a lover."
Yep.
And she goes, "Hold on. 'Tis unlawful to rape a free woman?" And he goes, "Aye." And then Brenna stiffens. And she goes, "I can't believe I'm reading this out loud. That is all you care about. Raping me. Why is it so important that you have me and not another? You do not care for me as a woman. You have no thought for my feelings. You've proved that many times. So why must it be me? Your body is most pleasurable, Brenna. 'Tis enough that I enjoy having you when I want you. Mayhaps if you were a kind-hearted man, 'twould be enough, Garrick," she said quietly. "But you're harsh and cruel in many ways."
Yes.
The look that came over Garrick's countenance was frightening. He crushed her to him, the pressure of his powerful arms excruciating. "'Tis me you have, mistress. I will have your word that you will not escape me again. You cannot force my word from me, Garrick. If you do, 'twill not be given freely, and I will not honor it." "Then you have set your own fate," he said. Hold on. Can we rewind to when she said, "Why is it so important that you keep raping me?"
Yeah. And he said, "Because I like your body?"
"Because you're hot?" ?
And she said, "If you were kind, that's all it would take for me to like willingly be your lady every night." And he was like, Nah,
can't take that chance.
That's too much of a sacrifice for me. Being
It's not
kind.
as fun.
No,
not as fun. So then he takes her back to the house.
Does he take her back to The house?
I mean, the torture chamber is in the house.
There we go. Well, I thought it was like kind of outside.
It's on the bottom level.
Yeah.
It's basically the basement, except it doesn't have any closed windows.
Right.
So he takes her to the cell underneath the house, and he's like, you're going to sleep in the cold tonight. And she says to herself, ha ha ha, he doesn't know that I'm already sick and I'm about to be a-fevered. Joke's on Garrick. It's going to be so funny when I die.
I
literally
flipped back, and that's saying something in this book several times, trying to figure out what the hell was going on here, because she is in this like cold chamber for like 3 days, and then afterwards he says something, or she says something.
Night.
Really? He says he's going to put her in there for 3 days.
Night.
Maybe it's okay. So then later, there is made mention of her trying to kill herself. And I'm like, what now? And so I went back, and then it said that she didn't have any blankets on. Like she didn't put the blankets on her on purpose. And she was going to freeze herself to death. Like, devil take him. I'm going to just freeze myself to death. And that'll show him. That'll really punish him. That he'll come back. He'll come back in here and I'll be dead. And I was like, okay. And then, like, later on it mentioned that she, like, gave herself a fever. And I was like, what? And so I went back again. And then I read that part where she was like, little does he know, I'm sick. Like, what? God, this is not a good plan, Brenna. None of these are good plans. Also, he gives zero shits if you die.
Yeah. Well, except Erin.
He would miss those perfect circle boobs that she's got.
Would. They're so globular.
Yes.
So he's like, you're going to spend 3 days in here. And then that night, he's tossing and a turning. And he's like, those perfect circle boobs. I bet they're super cold. I better go find out. I got to go find out.
Do they
feel different when they're cold?
They're usually warm. I want to make sure they stay warm.
Or could it be a different rape experience if she is an icicle? Maybe.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what he's looking for.
So then he goes down and he's like, woman, I can't believe that you've been a freezing yourself or whatever.
Yeah, he's pissed at her.
He's real mad. Yeah. So then he takes her into the house. He calls Yarmul. And Yarmul comes and tends to her, and he's like, and she kicks everyone out. And it's like 24 hours, and she's doing things with her herbs and her potions or whatever.
She's chewing up her tinctures.
Yeah, nom, 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 nom. Spit. Yeah.
Herbs.
And then Garrick, meanwhile, is just pacing downstairs for like a full 24 hours.
Yeah.
And Erin is like, do you think you love her? Because you're acting a little bit like a lovesick puppy dog.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit regretful about your punishment. And he's like, no, I just really wanted those circle breasts while they were cold. And now I think they're warm. And I'm really pissed about it. So
also, Yarmul is basically, she's going to die tonight. And he's like, isn't there anything you can do? And she's basically like, I will kill a goat for her to the god of whatever. But that's basically the most I can do.
Right. So Yarmul comes down. She's like, it's a lost cause. Meanwhile, then we find out via Yarmul's inner monologue that she spent the entire 24 hours with nobody in there attempting to murder her faster. She's had the door open. She's been...
We learned this now?
Yeah.
This was her inner monologue surprise right now. At the end. Oh my God. Yeah, I literally was like, Yarmul and her herbs, blah, blah, blah. I found out the like devious villain shit early.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Every time there was a cloaked woman from now on, I was like, you guys, it's Yarmul.
Oh my God. Why did she include that? It's so much better book. Because I, the whole time after this, believed it was what's her fuck? Yeah.
It wasn't Myrna. No. It was Yarmul.
Well,
the one who tried to murder Brenna right now.
The last 20 pages. Oh my God. Come on. I thought she at least did suspense okay. Ugh.
No, can I tell you what a frustrating reading experience this was the whole time? So Yarmul attempts to murder Brenna. Then Garrick and Erin go up. Oh, because she's also been giving her murder potions. Like, she's been giving her the wrong herbs.
Murder potions. Like the bad herbs.
That's the one. She's been
various nightshades. Nom, spit.
Wisteria. All up in the business.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, wisteria?
I don't know.
Who knows?
That sounds more pleasant.
No,
I don't remember.
That's wrong. There's something else. There's something that's like a W.
You want to talk to me about nettles and
yeah, you know about those.
Yeah, I know about tea herbs. I don't know nothing about wisteria.
We gotta go.
All right, I'm sorry.
He goes up and he is so. Want to know what my note is? I'll read you my note verbatim. Shall I? It says this. He goes up and sees her super fever dreaming, and he's like, Stella, I would do everything differently, maybe even including all the rape, Stella.
Very clear. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, and Erin notices that it's, even though the fire is real high, it seems a little cold in the room, but nobody thinks anything of it.
No one thinks anything of that. When What's-Her-Fuck finally wakes, she sees Garrick, and she's like coming up on her fever dream.
No, I'm sorry. No.
You're the one that told me to hurry up, so don't even.
I would like to, except that I have to talk about the worst one-woman show script I've ever read in my fucking life.
The fever dream?
Yes!
The worst one-woman show script. And you guys, we read a lot of one-woman show scripts. We are the types of ladies who have friends that put on one-woman shows.
Yes! We get a recap of the entire book we just read. In this stupid one-woman show. There's like a beatnik poem in there for no fucking reason. Like she's laying...
I was laughing so hard. Just a sec. I gotta go get it now.
It's literally on the floor.
Don't cut it.
I won't. She's like... Oh my god, she's fucking flailing in this thing. She's still pissed at Cordelia, even in her fever dream where she knows she's gonna die. Like, this bitch is not capable of making any kind of amends.
May I read some of it?
Please. Please. They need to know what they're dealing with.
Just notice my character pops as I do it.
Oh my god, yes! Give me all the character pops!
No, I can't. Well, okay, there's so many, but like, it goes in different voices. It's like, I am Heloise, wife to Anselm. You will be given to my son Garrick. I will not be owned. Have I found the means to tame you, wench? He will rape me. My God, how will I endure the agony Cordelia said I would feel? Where is the pain? Cordelia lied. She made me show fear to the Viking when there was no need. But 'twas beautiful. He is beautiful. Such a magnificent body, so much power and strength. He makes me forget that I hate him. He makes my will his own. Laughter came from far away. Cordelia and Yarmul laughing. Anselm and Hugh laughing. He is a beast. He cares not for me. How could he abuse me before his guests? I am free of him now. He will never find me. So, I could not have stayed away with him any longer. Not when his touch turns me to honey. Swords clanging together. The noise is deafening and hurts her ears. Finally, she screams, "Ah! I cannot kill you, Garrick, not even for my freedom. I do not know why, but the thought of you dead hurts me so terribly."
Did I exaggerate, you guys?
No.
I can keep going. Worst one-woman show you have ever fucking read.
I'm sorry I got lost there in the middle, you guys, and lost my pacing a little bit. It's just there was a page turn, and in the page turn I got a little lost.
She's not off book yet, you guys.
I'm sorry.
She's not off book yet.
Sorry, 519.
It's going to be way better when it's finally up on its feet.
Woof. What a DI.
What
a DI.
You know what? It's going to be way better when it's finally on its feet, Erin.
Can we make somebody do this?
I wish we were still coaches.
What poor high schooler can we give that to?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay. Actually,
so then
you
this
know
bitch wakes up.
Wedding reading. That's it. I found it.
I will do it. I will fall on the floor. I will ride on the floor.
At my wedding. Okay. All right. Okay. And then she comes to out of this fever dream.
Yeah.
Garrick is there. She looks at him. She says, "Garrick, are you ill?" Just come on. Fucking Brenna. He says, "Nay, wench, I'm fine." She says she's sore all over. And then she asked him, "Did you beat me while I was asleep?" Love of her life, you guys. Love of her life. He didn't, but still. Okay. Could have.
It would not be out of character. No. Wake up. Gong, gong.
Yeah.
So then he babies her for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're going to eat broths forever, and you're not allowed to put your feet on the ground, and dog is going to give you all the snuggles. Oh, and like, also this creates extra work for the other slaves, right? She's not concerned about that at all.
Yeah.
She finally bursts into his room, And she's like, enough is enough. I'm bored to tears and I need something to do.
And he mentions that he talked to Cordella, her sister, and she gets fucking pissed because she thinks he's fucking Cordella, which is like, that's what you're going to get pissed about? That's the thing?
Anyway. Yeah. So he's like, Cordella told me you were a super lazy ass. And she's like, what? Hold on. When did you talk to Cordella? Were you inside her? Like it goes from you talk to Cordella to it's amazing.
So then he gives her some fancy golden armbands and says, here, these are your fancy golden armbands. These are for you. And she's like, where am I going to wear them while I like fucking dump out your toilet
you know what?
bucket?
Point of order.
Or this is my favorite Brenna, this paragraph.
Yep.
Where you want me to wear these armbands when I'm doing your laundry or like fucking all the other gross stuff she does for him, pouring out your blood bath water. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you'll wear them at a fancy ball that I'm inviting you to. And then she's
Duke
like,
is taking her to a ball.
And then she's like, me?
I know. It's so true. It's so true. She's like, hold on, but I have naught to wear. And he's like, don't worry. My mom is making you a special party frock. And she's like, wait, Heloise, Queen of the Vikings, is making me a special party frock?
Uh-huh.
And then he's like, yeah, you have to be there to serve me anyway, so you have to look nice. I'm not going to let them think that my slave is, like, ill-treated.
My God.
So you're going to have a pretty dress to serve me shit. And she's like, okay, well, I'll go, but only if you give me a dagger. And he's like, yeah, cool. What?
All right, this is the winter solstice feast. Everybody is like out in all their best gear.
Guys, it is tits out for winter!
To include Garrick, who is wearing
yeah, please.
Gold velvet head to toe.
With red accents because it accentuates her red dress.
And that velvet is molded to his corded muscles. Which is
my
so
God.
Can you imagine your man
pecs
in skin-tight gold velvet? Is that something that you're going to be like, finally, an outfit that's like sexy? No.
No, actually, you know what? Michael, his one rule is yellows don't wear yellow. So
but what about
I never have to deal with this. Yeah. So he takes her to the party, and then she finds out that he was just like posing earlier. He was being a poser, and she's actually as a guest.
Yeah,
and she's like,
a
my God,
at the thing.
I am a date. Have a date. I am a date.
So this is the first time she's seen her family since she got there, because he's not let her go see her family. So she goes up to Aunt Lynette, and she's like, hey, Lynette. And Lynette's like, you would not believe
how fun it is.
Doing great.
Sister wives.
I love being a slave. Let me tell you. Heloise is like my new bestie, and Anselm loves her so much. She's clearly the number one, but guess who's the number two? Me. And like back in Celtland, I got zero action, and now I'm getting it like at least once a week. So I'm doing great. Don't you even worry about me.
Always wet in Viking land.
Right. Then she goes and talks to Cordella, who's like, I'm pregnant, so I can never leave. She's like, okay. Neat.
And, no, they have a stupid fight.
Yeah, she tries to like murder Cordella a little bit.
Or at least scare her.
Yeah,
a little
whatever.
bit. Meanwhile, Garrick has been like, oh no, where'd she go? Oh no. If she kills pregnant Cordella, like Hugh, I'm not going to be able to stop him from taking revenge. But he can't leave because Morna has entered the building. And if anybody sees him leave after Morna gets there, it's going to be like,
Bing,
you're
boom,
so...
bong.
Yes.
Brenna's in love with Garrick. I skipped it again.
Oh my God.
I forgot. She's talking to What's-Her-Toes. Lynette. She's like, Lynette's like, be sensible, Brenna. Garrick clearly cares for you. You're clearly his super special slave. You should try to make your life something special here with him. Even though he's forbidden to marry a slave, he will make you his special slave. And then maybe he won't take a wife or other slaves, and it'll be kind of like you guys are married, even though you're
still
slave.
totes his slave.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he can like beat you and throw you in that like cold room and everything.
I mean, can't he also do that when she's his wife? No? Oh, no, I guess free women have more rights. You're right.
Right.
You're right. I definitely think he can still hit her.
Yeah.
We're talking Vikings.
Yeah.
Here.
Let me read it, though.
He
can't rape her, apparently.
Oh, no. No, that's
But he
against
could
the law.
if she was his wife. Actually, does it change anything?
Right? I don't know if it changes anything. It just makes her feel
Except that
better.
she could order Jamie around.
That's true. She doesn't
She
get to order
loves
anybody
that.
around.
Okay.
Oh, man. She'd
My
love
pride demands better. I once scorned marriage, yet that is the only way I could live with Garrick in peace. But 'tis forbidden to marry a slave. I know, Brenna said softly. She looked at Garrick across the room and smiled. She had said the words aloud. She would marry Garrick. Yay. I love that. It's not like yay like we would do. It's like yay
not.
like
It's
old timey
yay.
yay. But I like the idea of she would marry
Yeah.
Garrick. Yay. She would do so gladly. The thought of marriage to him without the constant battle of wills filled her with warmth. Yay, she did love him. Brenna greeted this realization with laughter, clear and joyous. She leaned over and hugged her aunt. I love him. I did not know it until now, but 'tis truth. I love him. If he cares for me like you've said, as his own mother has said, then he will marry me. 'Tis the only way I can live with Garrick. So keep in mind this joyful outburst that she has just had. That she's
And right
in love with him.
afterwards, she goes and threatens her pregnant sister with a knife.
Then she just threatens to stab her pregnant sister. And
Like,
then...
just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
Then the thing with Morna.
Yeah, so then Morna comes. Okay, so then she comes back and they do some flirting. They talk about how he has a dead sister.
Yep.
He doesn't tell her how his sister died, but tells her about the sister. And then he's like, I actually don't hate Celts because it was a Celt that helped me escape from other Celts that were torturing me for like a year.
Yeah, Anselm hates the Celts because the Celts tortured Derek.
After they
may as well be Derek.
It is. Yep.
Derek.
Yeah, from Bella Forest.
Bella vampire.
Shade of vampires.
Shades.
Okay, so then she spots Morna and she's like, huh. And then she thinks, you can't have him as long as I'm breathing.
God.
So then Morna and Perrin are going to leave, but Perrin like takes a detour to talk with Brenna. And then she's like, why don't you introduce me to your sister? And Perrin's like, ugh, no, Morna's the worst. And like, she's going to be extra terrible to you.
Morna sucks.
Yeah, he's like, I'm so ashamed of Morna.
Uh-huh.
Perrin is very Team Garrick. And so then she and Morna have words. Morna's like, put this cloak on me, slave. And Brenna's like, no, you can't make me. And then she's like, I will have you whipped. And she's like, no, you won't.
No.
No.
Garrick won't allow it.
And then she speaks English to Morna.
Yeah.
No, she speaks
Norway.
Norwegian
Times. Yep.
to Morna, being like, you better stay away from him. And he hates you. And I'm the love of his life now or something. I don't remember what the actual
Yeah, I don't know.
thing is.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter.
So then Garrick comes up and says, hey, are we going to go soon? Are you tired? And she's like, yeah, it's been a long day and I've had too much to drink. He grins and says, I remember fondly another time you had too much to drink and you were most agreeable. Are you now? She says, nay,
Gross.
Garrick. He says, come, I have a place for us to pass the night. So
he takes her to the stables.
Yep.
Which is not the part I hate.
No.
She says she's not going to lay with him. And he's like, all right, well, I'm not going to chase you. So why don't you come and lay down here? And she's like, oh, okay. Thank you so much. And Did you forget?
I did.
I didn't. So she goes and lays down being like, man, Garrick is so nice. He's like, gonna leave my vagina alone. It's so great. He's giving me the choice. It's awesome. He's not going to chase me. And then as soon as she lays down, he gets on top of her, gets between her legs. And she's like, hold on. I thought you said that you weren't going to rape me. And he's like, no, I thought I wasn't going to chase you.
Tee-hee. What a joke. So then he rapes her, but she has an orgasm, and then she yells, I love you, Garrick. I love you, I love you, I love you, during her orgasm.
And he's like, thanks.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you love me? Cool.
Right. And she's like, hold on. Do you love me? And he's like, no, I don't have it in me anymore. I hate all ladies.
She's like, why don't you set me free?
Wait, no, it's better.
Okay.
She goes, what are your intentions, Garrick? Will you wed me? He frowns at her. A Viking cannot wed a slave. You know that. Your father would free me. You can free me. Nay, wench, 'twould serve no purpose. I will not wed you. If I set you free, I would lose you. Then he tried to calm her. Don't worry, girl. As my slave, I will keep you always, Brenna. You will be like my wife. Until I am old, she snapped. Then you will put me out to pasture as you would a mare.
Yes.
And then he says, I have never sworn to wed. And she goes, or to love? And he goes, there is no love in me. It was destroyed long ago. Because apparently this rapist has demons. I don't care, Garrick. And then, oh, don't worry, guys. 'Tis you I come to, Brenna, he said in a soft voice again. 'Tis you I care about all others. I can give you no more than that. And then she's like, you can change. And he's like, no. And pain and regret brought tears to her eyes. And she turned away from him to hide her misery and spill her tears silently.
The worst.
So,
can I tell you a quick anecdote?
Please.
One time I was in the back of a cab in New Orleans with a couple of law school classmates who decided tonight was the night that they were going to make out grossly and drunkenly in the back of a cab. And I was also in the back of the cab. And they kept colliding with me. Like they were making out against the other window in the cab. And they kept colliding with me. And I kept having to shove them over. And it was one of the worst experiences of my life. And I hated this girl. I hated her. And about halfway through this disgusting makeout, she whispers in this man's ear, what are your intentions with me? And it was the grossest thing I've ever heard in my life. Ew. Sorry, anyway. So anytime anyone says that, that's what I think about, is being trapped in that cab and hearing her whisper that and just being like, no.
Full body shudder.
Yeah. And I was very sober. Okay. All right. Moving on.
Yes. Okay. So the entirety of chapter 33 is some hooded bitch. Some hooded bitch, I say in quotation marks because I didn't herbs that part.
It's Yarmul.
And
it's Yarmul.
It's definitely fucking Yarmul. So she goes over across the fjord to...
Don't ever do that while I'm drinking water, you bitch.
So she goes across the way to enlist the feuding clan to take Brenna and make it look like she ran away. And they're like, this sounds stupid. And she's like, probs.
It is. It is my stupid plan. Will you mind carrying it out? And they're like, sure.
And they're like, we're extra dumb. So definitely.
Yes.
And that is the entirety of chapter 33. Okay.
Yes.
So then, chapter 34. She wakes in the stables alone and then she's like, oh, wah, wah. Not only is he never going to marry me, but he just went to the horse race by himself. That's so mean. I'm definitely never going to be his wife now. So she talks to Lynette and she's like, Lynette, I'm going home. And so she trudges home by herself. Trudge. No one's home. So she puts her horse in the stable. And, Erin is not in the stable. This is worth noting.
Yes.
Erin is not in the stable. Puts her horse away. And then she goes to her room to destroy all of her gifts. So she throws her gold bands into the fire and she shreds her dress and she does all the shit. Oh, and my note is then she has a full-blown toddler meltdown on the bed, yelling at him even though he's not there, it's all his fault, because she's like, my dress! Look, you made me destroy my dress!
Look at what you made me do!
I hate you! And my note is, this bitch is the worst.
Yes.
Okay. So then she falls asleep and she wakes to Garrick kicking in the door.
Yep.
Wench, how dare you not watch me in the horse race?
Yep.
How dare you?
Yeah. Can I say the last time he raped her, when he came, the terminology was spilled the gift of life into her?
No!
Yes. Yes. So if anyone's out there, sometimes we have a thread on the cult that's like, what are the worst sex words? That is now
that's the
topping the list of worst. Calling semen the gift of life is now my number one.
I will take satiny ribbons of whatever the fuck you want.
I will take whatever tingler.
Anything. Not the gift of life. Gugh. Okay.
So she gets kelp-napped, right?
Well, no. Because now the important thing in this chapter is that he comes home really mad.
Mm-hmm.
She fights with him. He's like, the last time I raped you really brutally, it seemed to put you in your place. So I guess I'll do that again.
Yeah.
And he does. And then he leaves. and then like goes back to town, and he's like, and you can't even come with me because you don't have anything to wear.
Yeah. That may be where he spilled the gift of life into her.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I don't think it should have been.
It was either there or in the stable. I don't know.
I think it was the stable because she ended up being kind of into it, sort of. This one, though, is like she sobs afterwards, and then she Stockholm syndromes hard.
But I think that's implying that this is where she got pregnant.
No, I hate it. Okay. Okay, so as he leaves, she curses him. This is important too. She curses him by saying that she hopes he never makes it to Valhalla and he has to hang out with Loki's daughter or something.
That's like the meanest thing you can say to a Viking.
It is.
It's like, what a sick burn, Brenna.
Yeah.
I hope you never go to Valhalla. You have to hang out with Loki and his daughter.
Yeah, what? So then, I'm just going to read you the start of chapter 35 because it's horrendous.
Okay.
She was in a much better frame of mind now. After Garrick had left, she had cried some more, and then she realized how foolish she had been.
Yep.
Garrick was willing to share his rapist life for her. She didn't say that. Garrick was willing to share his life with her.
Yes.
To give her what he could. She must accept that and be grateful for it. One day he might change and love again. After all, she had changed. So that is how deep we are.
Yep. In the
abuse
mental
cycle.
illness. Yeah. So.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so then two dudes come and nap her.
Nap her.
They
get her.
Kick the shit out of dog real bad. They nap her all up. And they take her
horse.
Her and her horse. Yep. And they take her across the fjord. In their big, big boat. Okay. So then they take her to like a shack somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And there's clearly an alpha and a beta. And so the alpha's like, man, I cannot wait to rape your whole body.
Yes.
But I got to go talk to my dad about some things because it's still winter solstice in this clan too.
This is the clan that is the war clan. The one that Jarmul did her thing with. Okay.
It's the feuding clan. So then she's in this hut with the beta for 9 days.
Yes.
Knowing that the alpha is going to come back and rape her.
Right.
And then he does. Except, you guys, we learn that it can get worse. Garrick really is the prince in this story.
Yep.
Because this guy is into like sadomasochistic stuff.
Yes.
That's no fun. And my note in this, it is...
This is very violent.
On first read, I thought he raped her in chapter 36.
Uh-huh.
Then we go back to, in chapter 37, we go back to Garrick. Garrick is fucking pissed and he's given up because he's like, she obviously ran away. And he like keeps on interrogating Erin because Erin's like, I wasn't home. I was sick. And my note here is, Jarmul dosed him. I know it.
Sure.
It never comes up again, but I'm sure that Jarmul dosed him.
Yeah.
And then no further details come out except that dog died.
Yeah, dog died, you guys. Dog
drowned. Went to go look for her.
Because dog tried to swim across the fjord.
Yeah, to get her.
Dog.
And then he came back and died of exhaustion or something. Ugh. And then so Garrick is over it now and he's given up and all women are terrible and never again. So then in chapter 38, my note is, meanwhile, back in Torture Town.
Yes.
Brenna is getting doused with freezing water. Oh my gosh, you guys, because I thought she got raped because she was in so much pain.
Yeah, and it kind of
like
clipped
the punching
away.
Variety.
Yeah,
that she passes
they're just
out.
like beating the shit out of her, you guys. And it's awful, and we're not going to go into it.
No,
but I do want
terrible.
to read this paragraph, which is not graphic. It's just sad.
Okay, yeah.
Now the test began. Are you in the same paragraph as I am?
No, I don't think so. Is this after she wakes up from being passed out?
No, this is when he's about to rape her.
Boy.
Basically.
Okay.
Brenna would either...
the first time or the second time? I'm confused.
I think the second time. No, the first... I don't know. He never actually completes it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So Brenna would either leave here with blood on her hands or be violated by this young bastard and forever lose the hope of Garrick's love. Garrick was no different than other men, unwilling to share what they claimed as their own. He had proved that where she was concerned, he would never forgive her, even though she was blameless. How unfair was the judgment of men.
Yeah.
Isn't that the most oofy paragraph you've ever read?
You guys, that's love.
Oof.
Love.
That's the guy she loves.
That's the guy who
She's
apparently
trying
loves
not
her.
to get raped in that paragraph, not for her own sake, but she knows that she will be damaged goods for fucking Garrick.
Hey, Erin, she's used to being raped by now.
Oh, God, I can't.
Right?
So then
Terrible.
she does fight. Basically, she gets her dagger out. He falls on her dagger midst rape. Can we just paraphrase it to that? And he never actually gets to penetrate him.
No, because then she would never, No.
So,
there has to be a door open for Garrick still. So
yeah, but there's a lot of fighting, a lot of screaming, a lot of horrible stuff. But he gets stabbed in the chest and she runs.
Yeah. Before that, though, it is funny. I think it's pretty. My notes are funny, I think.
Funny part?
Well, when she wakes up, he's like dousing her with freezing water, and she's like, "Oh, geez, did you do it?"
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's basically like, "Nah, man, bitches are always fainting when I torture rape them, and I like them to be awake.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten to it yet.
What a villain speech was that,
asshole?"
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Don't worry, someday you'll love it." And my note is, which, judging from her last boyfriend, might not be too off base.
I did note, like, when this was going on, I could not figure out the difference between this guy and Garrick, because this account felt very similar to several of the accounts, particularly the lifting up by her ankle account,
didn't it?
With Garrick.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
So yeah, she runs.
I feel like we can wrap this up pretty quickly, honestly.
Yeah.
She runs. She's squirreling away. She's trying to get food and stuff.
She's got her horse.
She goes up to the cliff where
the fjord
is most narrow, and she yells across the fjord, "Please, somebody help me." Nothing. She's got nothing. Nobody thinks baby Garrick isn't home. So she realizes she's got to go around the fjord to get home. It takes her 6 weeks. She is starving. She is freezing. She is abandoned by her horse at one point because the horse believes her to be dead. Yeah. That is the level. She finally gets back. She staggers in. She goes into the stables.
She's so excited.
Yes. Finally, she sees Erin. Erin is like, "Oh, you've made a big mistake. Like,
yeah, you should not be back here.
You should not be here. Like, you made a big mistake running away. You made an even bigger mistake coming back." And she's like, "I didn't run away. These thugs took me." And he's like,
"Yeah, okay.
No, like, no one's going to believe that. So you need to go." And he's like, "You want some food?"
Yeah, and she's like, "No, Garrick will understand.
Yeah, Garrick will
talk to him.
I'm going to eat in the house with Garrick." So she runs into the house. He is by the fire. He stands up, gives her a look of anger in his aqua, icy, blue, icy Viking eyes.
Absolute hatred. Complete disdain.
She runs to him.
Throws herself in his arms.
Yeah, he's like, "Fuck you. You made a vow to me that you were never going to leave, and you have broken that vow. We are done, Zo. This is
forever."
So what he does then is he gives her up as a slave, sells her to his father, and then because of that, she becomes a free woman, what she's always wanted.
Right.
But it's the winter, and so Heloise and Anselm are like, "You can go home, we will help you get home, but it's winter time, so we can't sail right now." So she goes off into a little cottage that they apparently fucking provide for her. I do not understand this plot. And she's like, "I will hunt for you to earn my keep.
I'm going to pay you in pelts."
Which is whatever. But
fine.
Surprise.
Oh, because she's so proud, you guys. It's really important that
she's very proud, and she's very hunty. She's surprised. She's pregnant.
Well, she got that gift of life, Erin.
Oh, God, gross. But she's still hunting. She's doing the pregnant hunting. She's trying to conceal it from everybody. One time, all the other...
she knows. Yeah. She knows that if anybody knows, they're going to be like, "Hey, that's our property, though."
Right.
So meanwhile, this has been now, months? Springtime comes around. She's like, "Oh, I'm going to go home soon." And then she keeps on sort of checking in with them. Cordella has her baby. Doesn't matter. She keeps on checking in with them to be like, "Are we going yet? Like, are we going now?" First, Anselm gets sick, and then he decides to go on a hunt with Garrick and Hugh. Yes. They go hunt for polar bears.
Is that for real? They hunt for polar bears?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Before that, though, she runs into him at his mom's house. And he's driving up the street on his horse, and Morna's beside him. And he says, like, "Oh, let me help you, my love." And, like, goes to help her down. And so
Ugh.
She runs away, tears streaming down her face. And then as soon as she's out of sight and out of earshot, he's such a piece of shit. He's like, Morna, get your fucking hands off of me. I hate you for fucking life. And she's like, hold on. Why were you so nice to me? And he's like, never say hello to me on the street again. I do not want to talk to you. He literally says that.
I know. But
and then
that's shitty to Morna. Morna's not even that bad. All she did was like him, and then she liked another dude, and she's back because that dude's dead. And now she's like, do you want to go out now that my husband's dead? There's nothing wrong with Morna. Yeah.
No. And so then she's like, oh my God, you did that for her benefit. And he's like, fuck off and fuck yourself. And so she does. So then
the slaves come visit her one time, and they're like, hey, he's super mean now. He's like drunk all the time and like really mean. Which also another point against Garrick if we needed one.
Yeah, and also that makes her kind of hot.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. She's like,
it makes her hot
he's
because
miserable without me.
Yeah. And she gives two shits about how the other slaves are like, he basically beats us and works us to the bone now, and we have to like run when he gets drunk because he's in these rages.
Yeah.
And Brenna's like, so then, for me?
Yeah. I did that. I am such a muse. So then he completely fucks off. I think at this point, like, he's going to come to a sentence and come to a grovel. I'm looking forward to the grovel. There's got to be something redemptive about this guy.
Has to happen.
There's not.
No.
He goes all the way to Viking trader land, and she's fixing to leave, except that Mama Viking finds out she's pregnant, and she's like, listen, you can have the baby here. And she's like, no, I heard about how you leave babies out to die. Or whatever.
Well, wait, okay. I know you're just tired, but like when a baby is like weak or disabled in some way, they kill it Sparta style is the issue. So she's worried that she will have a baby that's not strong enough for Garrick's liking, and that he'll leave it out in the cold to die.
Or
he
if
just
Garrick's
won't want
around, if Garrick's around, he'll be like, I don't care how healthy this baby is, it's her baby, so it's got to die regardless.
Right.
And he can make that decision as the father.
Right.
So then she, I don't even have my notes out because we're herbsing so much.
It's okay. He goes across the fjord to see the other clan, to sneak into the other clan to see if that guy who she said raped her is actually dead.
Oh, wait. No, because, she has the baby. So, okay, guys, she is doing another super pregnant hunt. And, but she's probably like 7.5 months along, something like that. It's early. She's doing a very pregnant hunt. And then all of a sudden, this cloaked figure on a black horse comes a gallop, and it knocks her over. And so then it like tries to trample her again, but it doesn't work out.
Right.
And she's like, oh my gosh. And she feels a pain in her belly. And then she sees Garrick and she thinks that she's having another terrible one-woman show fever dream. And he picks her up and he takes her to his house. And then they do a bunch of midwifery. And she pushes out that baby. And then she passes out as soon as she has it. She doesn't see that Garrick mouth to mouth resuscitates the baby before that's a thing.
Yeah.
And he Lion Kings it to everybody. And he's like, my son, my healthy son, blur.
Its name
for
is
the first 3 months.
Selger.
Big. Segler. Seelig.
Seely.
I don't know. So then she spends like the first 3 months at his house. And then she's like, I need my hut back. God damn it.
Yeah.
So she fucks off with another lady who, and she also can't breastfeed because I really think that Johanna Lindsay was worried about maintaining her perfectly globular breasts.
Oh, God, gross.
I do.
I don't know. But also, like, Garrick still does not believe her about this, like, kidnapping story. And he went across the fjord to see oh my gosh, what?
No, I'm sorry. He tries to do a grovel, but he doesn't. He goes over and he's like, I loves you. And our son is like 7 months old and I've been visiting him in secret. And like, I really want to be with you. And she's like, oh, I'm so glad you believe me about that thing I told you about. And he's like, no, you're a liar, but I'll look past it. And she's like, fuck that and fuck you. I'm going back to Celtland where I have no money and no connections. And I'm like going to be the poorest mother of unwed mother. Hello, lady. Yes. There are worse things than Viking land where you get to stay in a hut for 3 pelts a month.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But also he went across the fjord.
So then now he goes over because he's like, I need to know if she's telling the truth or not.
So he wants to see if that dude is actually dead. He's not dead. He ties him up. He brings him back across the fjord again. And he's like, hey, check it, Brenna. This guy's not dead. So you are a fucking liar. And she's like, well, I don't know. I thought he was dead. I guess he survived. Check and see if there's a scar.
All those scars.
Look where the scar is from where I stabbed him. So he rips off the guy's tunic and the guy's torso is just fucking covered in scars.
And the guy's like, I'm so scarred.
Look at all my scars. And
then she's like, hold on. There's a scar on his hip parts, and I saw it when he was getting to his raping. And
a weird
then
looking
the guy,
scar.
And then this is another Bing Boong Bong
logistics.
Viking baths with melody.
Viking baths?
Yes, because it says that he and Garrick go like ashen because there is a scar on his hip that only Garrick and this dude know about.
Mm-hmm.
As if nobody else has ever seen this man naked or bathing or hurt in some way. Nobody else has seen this scar on his hip. I don't know how that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not a thing.
Whatever.
That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it's a scar that Garrick gave to him when they were kids, when they were like friends. Then this is, I think, where we find out that he's the dude who killed his sister.
Yeah, so other clan rapist killed the sister of like the rapist we're in love with.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he thought that she was just a lowly slave, so like, why not?
Other clan rapist then knocks out Garrick.
Oh yeah, clan, just like the bear. Garrick cannot stay conscious.
No, he's bad at concussions, or good at them, depending on how you look at it.
Or good at them. Maybe that's his one talent.
Yeah. So
then she tries to fight him off, and he's like, "Nah, I am better than a bear. I've been eating all winter, so I'm gonna tie you up and put you on my horse and you ride away." Then this is where we supposedly, big reveal, you guys. We find out
I was revealed because I skipped that part.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yarmel's on the road and she's like, dude, it only works when we thought she ran away. And like, this is bullshit. And so he's like, well, I was going to kill Garrick and the baby, but that's like a bad idea. And Yarmel's like, no, it's a totally great idea. I will go do that because it's been my hope all along to take out this entire
wing of the clan because like
so that my bastard son can be chieftain.
Mom of one
None of it makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't care. It's very similar to that Highlander book we read that where it like wasn't Fenella that was doing the murders. It was like that other old lady. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, if it was Enid doing all this,
oh my
I would be
God,
so into
Justice for Eden.
I would be so into it.
Yeah. Enid's my favorite character.
So then he is like getting her on the fjord. She also doesn't know how to swim, you guys. This is very important. He puts her into a boat and he's going to row away. And then they have a kerfuffle of some sort. She jumps out of the boat into the fjord. She's like, I got to get back to my baby because Yarmel just said she was going to murder my son.
Well, no, she's like, where's the baby? And Garrick's like, the baby's safe.
Oh, no,
and then he's
Garrick's not here yet. Stop it.
Oh, sorry.
She thinks that Yarmel is on the way to murder them both. So she's trying to save herself.
Sorry.
Then Garrick shows up.
Okay.
And Garrick helps her fight things. The other dude falls into the fjord and dies. And then he takes her up to his house. And he's like, oh, we're together now. Oh, well, I know you were telling the truth. And she's like, I don't know if that's, I mean, if I was her, I would be like, I don't know if that's good enough right now because I should not have to prove myself to you.
Yes,
but whatever.
But now, yes.
But then she's like,
proposes to her.
Hey, where's the baby?
He's like, would you wed me? And she's like, yeah, if you'll still have me. And then they're like, in their bliss, and then she's like, where's the baby?
And he's like, oh, don't worry, I left him with Yarmel.
And she's like, no, Yarmel, she's the murderer. But I like that they had this whole conversation of like, I loves you, I wants to marry you, you're free now, no more rapes. Before anyone was like, oh my God, Derek, would you believe it that it's like Yarmel that's the murderer? I feel like the first thing I said to Garrick would be like, you wouldn't believe it, it's Yarmel. That's number one. Real. Yeah.
No. So then they go, run and run.
Rescue that baby.
He's not in the house. Yeah, Yarmel can't actually kill the baby. She just left it in the woods and was like walking away.
Mm-hmm. So
they find out she's a little bit insane.
Selmer, the baby.
That's the
and then the last paragraph is, Brenna no longer had thoughts of returning to the land of her youth. This was her home now, here with her husband and son. The boy she had once tried to be was dead. She is a woman now, complete.
She's been womanized.
Dear God.
That's what happens.
I didn't think the last paragraph could be any worse than it was.
Right? How did it make it worse?
I thought it was at least going to be like, and they were in love, but no, it's like, and now she was finally a woman.
Thank God.
Oof.
She found her femininity.
God.
Wasn't it a hard road?
It was. It was a bumpy road to get here.
But the moral of the story is you're happiest when you're at your womanist, I guess.
Yes.
So congratulations to us.
Yep.
And everyone else
who
did this with us. You know what? We learned some things about bears today.
We did. We did. And I got to tell you that story of that gross girl in the cab.
That's the one. Yep.
So.
Man.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Erin. Do you have a lady love? We need it. Do you have one? Do you need it? Do you have one?
You go. I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. I have two.
Two?
Well, they're same strain. Two things. One is a little, what's it called? Fuckstick. It's the new Amy Poehler movie on Netflix.
Wine
She directed
Country?
it. Wine Country.
It's on Netflix?
It is a delight. Yes.
I thought it was going to come out in theaters. I can watch it right now?
It is a Netflix film.
Oh, yes.
And it does not disappoint. It's lovely. So, Wine Country, that's my first lady love. And my second one is the movie Teen Titans Go.
What?
Very different flavors.
Yeah.
Very different flavors.
Yes.
But they both do excellent things. Teen Titans Go is really funny.
Okay.
And you don't even have to know what's going on in superhero land. It's still very funny. So those are my two lady loves.
Cool. Yep.
Your life hasn't been full of a whole lot of lady love.
No,
recently.
it has not.
So
you know what? I had my bridal shower yesterday, and my friends, they got little favors and flowers and stuff for me. It was a little bit awkward because my two friends threw it, and then they were like, send us your guest list of all your other friends. And I was like, I have 5 total.
That's nice, though.
Yeah, it was very intimate. But they gave out as favors little mason jars full of fancy French macarons. And boy, is that just my favorite cookie. I love a fancy French macaron. If you can get your hands on one, they are just delightful. And may I say, there is, as you all may know, I'm in the Seattle airport often. I don't think there's anyone out there that's also in the Seattle airport often. That seems to be a weird thing. However, there's a macaron vendor in Concourse C called Lady Yum that I go to. I'm there at least once a week. And they have a flavor called Shindig that is Fruity Pebbles flavored. And boy, is that the best cookie in the world.
Wow.
But if you're not around, Lady Yum could be a national chain. I have no idea. I just know it's in Concourse C at the Seattle airport. I'm there all the fucking time.
That's very cool.
I get Lady Yums on the regs.
Nice.
That's what I got.
I really like macaroons too because they are usually dairy free.
Is that so? Yes, I know, because
think so.
I went to a place and learned how to make them. I think that was a lady love like a year and a half ago. And, it's buttercream in the middle. You're thinking of macaroons, maybe. Like coconut macaroons? I'm talking about macarons.
Oh, macaron.
Macarons. Yeah, because the middle is buttercream.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, maybe I've only had dairy-free macaroons. I don't know.
Maybe
because I love that middle.
Maybe you've just never associated the stomach ache and violent poop you've had afterwards to be.
Yeah, maybe it's something else. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, that sounds delicious.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Hey guys, you can find us on all the places, and we love it when you do. We love it when you interact with us. We love getting emails and tweets and comments and all the shit. We fucking love it. So on Instagram, we're at Heaving Bosoms. Twitter is at Heaving_Bosoms. Facebook is Heaving Bosoms Podcast. We also have the Heaving Bosoms Geriatric Friendship Cult, which is a closed group and the happiest place on the internet. We have
a Patreon, patreon.com/Heaving Bosoms Podcast. Is that the correct? Yeah. Okay, good. And we've got merch on Redbubble. If you want t-shirts, if you want tote bags, if you want other stuff with original art, you can purchase it there.
They're fucking awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. And all of those links are also on our website, which is heavingbosoms.podcast.com.
Yep.
Yeah. So keep being a badass and love yourself as much as you love what are Scandinavian bears, though.
I was going to say one woman show fever dreams, but I think...
Oh, man. No, it's got to be one woman show fever dreams. Yeah. Okay, so keep being a badass.
And love yourself as much as you love one woman show fever dreams. I just wish I wouldn't have lost the pace in there. I felt like I had such a momentum, and then I let it get away from me.
Erin, honestly, it made it better because that's the only way it could have happened in her mind.
Could we do a Patreon where we do the whole thing?
Yes, let's do that right now.
Okay, all right, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Hey, you. Yes, listener, you. Are you loving the show? If so, please leave a rating and review in your podcast app. The 90 seconds you take to say something nice not only helps new people find the show, but it makes me super smile over at HBHQ. Also, I've had a few people ask, and the answer is yes. We are still doing the 5-star bribe. If you leave us a review with 5 stars, then we'll do whatever book you want. We're real deep into the list, though, so it might be a while. Lilas! Okay, back to the show.